I'd like to wrap it up. Is there anything else you want to express?
Yes, I would like to say truth and reconciliation, real truth and real reconciliation, not the Tutu Commission, is very important. So I would like to ask if any Chinese official listens to the interview. I would like to advise, please reconcile a little bit with the Dalai Lama and let him visit China, including, of course, Tibet, his homeland.
Right. Thank you.
And so South Africa should have real truth and real reconciliation, of course.
Okay, so that would also mean that the visa should be granted to anybody, for that
Yes,
matter,
that's true.
except known terrorists.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Or at least except for known terrorists who may incite hatred. Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you, Mr. Rom.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Riggs.
Good day.
Good day. What do you have to say about the latest news regarding the Dalai Lama's visit that wasn't carried out? The visit to South Africa to celebrate Mr. Tutu's birthday. Oh, well, I don't understand. He's, has weird friends. But anyway, all right.
Right. Not so long ago,
Yeah.
he was also being quite theatrical and mercurial and speaking about wealth tax and being a slight racist and saying, for the white man.
Yes.
My view on this, Tutu, jump in the lake. There are many African people in South Africa that are supremely wealthy
Yes.
who can also afford to pay tax.
Yes.
In regards to your friends, who I think should be invited to South Africa regardless of whether or not they are Bishop Tutu's friends,
Yes.
I think it is quite despicable that the South African government has had this stance. It is the second time, in my knowledge, that a visa has been denied and debated and a spectacle has been made of it in South African media.
What was the first time?
I don't remember when the specific case was, but it was a while ago. It was probably about 5 to 7 years ago, where there was also a question about whether or not the South African government was indeed owned, controlled remotely by China.
Did it involve the Dalai Lama?
Yes. The fact is, South Africa is a sovereign state.
Yes.
There are millions of European people sitting in South Africa with money.
Yes.
The bigger multitude of black people are poor.
Yes.
The only people that are able to make these black people become employed and employable in South Africa,
Yes.
especially the uneducated and unemployable
Yes.
of them,
Yes.
are in fact the white people in South Africa and their extended networks, business networks throughout the world, not only China.
Yes.
Now, I'm inviting China to change their stance
Yes.
ever so slightly. They are evolving towards capitalism. We are evolving towards socialism.
Yes.
We are interested in the world economy. We are interested in BRICS as the Cape Party and the Cape Nation.
Yes.
As the Truth and Reconciliation Party, we deem ourselves to be honest and truthful most of the time,
Yes.
as we can within the realms and nuances of politics. If the Cape were a separate nation, I think we would indeed permit anybody to visit the Cape,
Yes.
including terrorists,
Yes.
but not necessarily every single one of them, but
Yes.
I think it is a reasonable thing to do.
Yes.
I think it is extremely unfair that from my point of view and my observations, life in Tibet has not changed terribly much.
Yes.
And if the Chinese used violent oppression and claimed in retrospect that they were assisting the enslaved monastic people
Yeah.
of Tibet, very good for them. I know of human rights abuses in China still to this very day, where minorities are oppressed, and where some of the nations on the central northwest provinces of China are still extremely poor,
Yes.
whereas the coast, Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, the coastal cities are extremely wealthy,
Yes.
where there's less oppression, where there's booming economic growth. We are also aware of what happens in China as South Africans. We are equally aware of the impoverished people in Siberia and places of Russia, far from the cities.
Yes.
And
But that means that in all countries, there are areas of rich people and areas of poor people.
yes, so what the Western Cape people are,
Yes.
the Cape people, some of us, many of us that are forward-thinking and strategic in our thinking, we are talking about BRICS becoming a economic thrust of the future. Let's put it in a subdued fashion.
Yes.
We are doing it for ourselves. We're moving away from the authoritarian colonialist type of imperialism of the previous dispensations of the last century. We are well aware of that certain Chinese people think of South Africans as monkeys. Not saying this in any disrespect, but we are aware of it. We concern ourselves with us, first of all, being Africans, and how we can work and cooperate with other people and other nations and other ethnic groups, other religious groups, and other completely unknown to each other types of philosophies and thinking. Personally, I don't accurately understand why the South African government has denied this man his visa to visit. I am convinced it is to the betterment of humanity and mankind if, first of all, the Dalai Lama would have been permitted his visa in time
Yes.
to come to South Africa. Furthermore, if he is such an important person, being received by such an important person as South Africa, somebody in the Department of Home Affairs could have lifted their bottoms out of their comfortable chair and made a little bit of effort to do this visa in one day, because I think it is possible.
Yes. But that is regardless of who he visits or who accepts him or who respects him. I mean, any person who wants to come to South Africa should come, isn't it so?
It is correct.
Yes.
And I must admit, to be perfectly honest, I will associate myself with the idea that Mr. Tutu has expressed of praying for the demise of the ANC. The ANC is the party of the idiots in South Africa. It is the party of the poor. I'm not saying that idiots are the poor or the poor are the idiots. I'm just saying who some of their voters are.
Yes.
And if we want to keep South Africa safe,
Yes.
if we want to keep the Cape safe,
Yes.
we have to remove idiots from seats where they are not performing their jobs correctly and where they are doing their jobs at snail's pace,
Yes.
where they are doing their jobs with ill-considered views and ideologies that are archaic.
Yes.
That, and this is a quote from a recent discussion or something that I read about the African-Russian alliance in the book of Vladimir Shubin, who discussed the ANC in Moscow.
Oh,
I forget the title precisely.
Yes, the alliance of the Soviets and they were all communists or communist
At the time,
orientated.
yes.
Yes.
So many years ago, I think it was even in 1950, as early as 1950, the communists had advised the ANC that they should go for the federal state system in South Africa that they were hoping to create.
Yes.
I still think this is a very good idea,
Yes.
because I will be damned if I am ruled by a lunatic, as it appears Mr. Malema is. Fortunately, he's got flu, and we all know what this means in the South African colloquial speaking amongst the African people. If somebody has flu, he's blessed in a sense that he might be quickly arriving in the netherworld.
Yes.
And has no more responsibilities in the current physical world,
Yes.
which I would also pray for, to be perfectly honest.
Yes.
So, as far-sighted and medium-term strategically considering the future, I would strongly recommend that the people within the ANC that are thinking up all this rubbish about who they want and don't want in South Africa, and why they want them and why they don't want them, they should really start thinking about why they're in such disarray.
Yes.
And how they're going to fix that.
Yes.